Today, I want to reveal some hidden messages in the book of Genesis chapter 1. In this book of creation, it contains a lot of messages for humanity. When you live in a system that is corrupt, information you get either tie you down or uplift you. Today, any word you hear, you discern it in your spirit. That's one. And you confirm it with the word of God. And any word that is not rooted in the word of God is not worth taking serious. There are secrets in the book of Genesis, which every word I am going to speak will be on a ground of biblical proof. In Genesis chapter 1, when we say the book of Genesis, this is telling you is a book of beginning, foundation, the starting point. And we know that the number 1, have you ever asked yourself why the Bible, we have multi-verses in the Bible, verse 1, verse 2, and from the word verse, remember, I want you to take note of these words I will mention because you will hear it in the course of my explanation. Universe. And the Bible you see are compilation of the journey in the universe. That is why when you see a book written, so long the action took place or is taking place around the universe, around God's creation, it has to be either in verses. Because why? The collection of all these characters played out in the universe. And when you are telling the story that happened inside the creation of God, all the stories are now in verses. That is one secret you need to know about the word of God. Now, that is where your weapon is to the matrix. The weapon to the matrix or against the matrix, it lies in how you understand the foundation of your existence or the foundation of the creation of where you are. He that stole your past controls your future. What would they use to control the future? When they are able to use lie to manipulate you, what you are supposed to see and what you are supposed to know is not what you are being taught or is not what you are hearing or is not what you know. You cannot confront that man that is using creation of God to tie you down. I haven't explained why we have verses in the Bible and where is got it from as the universe. When God began to create, we will see how orderliness, how God created the universe in an orderly manner and how we are supposed to live in the universe in an orderly manner and how the universe and how corruption took charge in a part of the universe called the earth. What was supposed to be the activities on earth? These are the secrets we are about to unveil that the matrix are covering the eyes of men from, which is called the illusion. In the beginning, in Genesis 1 verse 1, it said, in the beginning, God created heaven. Not just heaven and earth. That is to say, if I am taking something out from Genesis 1 verse 1, meaning heaven was created before earth. Okay? Now, if anyone that finds himself on earth should know that the focus of that journey should be heaven. Right? Now, in verse 2, and the earth was without form. Nothing was on the face of the earth. It was empty. When you hear the word void, it means it was empty. Nothing was on it. And it was so dark. It was so dark that nothing was on earth. But both outside the earth and the deep of the earth was filled with water. When you look at the globe, the map of the earth, you will see that part of it that is dry land, and you will see part of it covered with water. But in this case, that the earth was empty, void, dark, every place, everywhere was filled with what? Water. When you get that picture within you. Now, God wants to maintain this hazardous place, this place that is so dark that nothing could be seen. And now look at how God is about to bring orderliness into the system called Earth. And remember, Earth is not the only system found in the universe. This is what I want you to know, because we have been carried away with this mentality of because we found ourselves on Earth, we feel that Earth is the only place where humans live. We think Earth is the only place where you think the whole power of the universe belongs to the men on Earth. No, okay? If that was the case, the Bible said, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers, against authorities, against forces in high places." That is to tell you that there are existence outside the earth that you still don't know about. But now, in this case, from this creation of God, the first thing God needed for earth to be maintained or to be brought into visibility, things we are enjoying today on earth or we are mismanaging on earth today, for them to come into existence. Here is how God started creation. Number one, His Spirit was the first thing that was present. In a time of chaos, in darkness, the Spirit was the first thing. The Spirit of God was the first thing that was present. And it was the Spirit that moved upon the face, the deep of the water. And I will explain the significant meaning of each and every word you hear. The Spirit of God is the first thing you need, okay? And when you get that Spirit of God, an environment where you are not silent to yourself or listening to your inner man, the Spirit of God, you cannot have it. You lock your ears from the noise of the world. That is when the Spirit of God, you can hear the Spirit of God and the Spirit of God can come into you. That is why you meditate. That is the essence for meditation and prayer and studying the Word of God, for the Spirit of God to be upon you. And once you have the Spirit of God, this is what happened in a world of chaos, in a world of darkness, in a place where you want to create what is not in existence. Let's say you are having a time of trouble and you want to create freedom into it. First thing you need is the Spirit of God. As soon as the Spirit of God came and it walked upon the water, the face of water, what did God call out for? The next thing He called out for was light. He said, "Let there be light." The reason why there should be light is because you use light to see the visibility of the environment, because it was a place that was filled with darkness. That is, after you have attained the Spirit of God in the journey of humanity, the next thing you need to have is the light. And what is the light in this our generation today? In a place where there is no truth, when you speak the truth, that is the light that appears there. In a place where there is intimidation and you stand for justice, that is light. Okay, in a place where there is corruption and you stand to be different, and that is light. You see, and God said, "Let there be light." Take a system or in an environment where you have virus or breakout of a disease, and for this disease to maybe is a disease of lies or disease of murdering cases in that place, which include stealing, robbery, gang stalking, all this lifestyle that has to be called life in darkness. Now, for you to be able to be the light there, what you need there first is light. And what will be light? Being different from the doers of those evil things. And God said, "Let there be light," in a place where there was darkness, and light came. You see? And after light came, the next thing God called for was division. When we were in primary school, our teachers used to write items made with wood, items made with metal. He will mix everything up and he will say, separate those items made with metals, meaning separate the metallic items from the non-metallic. You see? Now, this is what happened here. The Spirit of God brings light within you. And once you have the Spirit of God and the light within you, you cannot separate truth from lies. You cannot separate nature from artificial. You can separate man-made from God's creation. You can separate illusion from reality. This is the light in us. This is the power. When the Spirit of God is in you, it brings the light of God. And once the light of God is in you, it helps you to separate and divide darkness from the light. The book of Genesis is a code of life for humanity. After God called for light in place of darkness, and he called the light day and he called the light night. That is to say, what the good things are called good and the bad things are called bad. That is the separation of day from night. Okay? And now in verse 5, he said, and God called the light day and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. Hold on. If we see the creation of God, we will discover that the evening was actually the beginning of a day, not the morning. Okay? Not the morning that is actually the beginning of a day. The evening and the morning was the first day. Okay? And God said, let there be firmament. Now God is look at how God is working things out in an orderly form. Okay? He made the light to come after his Spirit was called for, separated the light from the darkness. That is, you as a human being. What is the light and the darkness? You need to separate. Being truthful where truth is not being spoken. Being straightforward in a place where corruption is the order of the day, where corruption seems to be normal for the system, no matter the cost of it. The light, remember the Bible says, ye are the light of the world. This is where it comes from. And God said, let the firmament of the midst of the earth, let it be divided. Now, after God has divided light from darkness, he divided water from the water, which we know water above, water below. Okay. In verse 8, and God called the firmament heaven. Listen, he called the firmament heaven. That is to say, if God makes the heavens and the earth, and you are being placed on earth, your focus now and our journey is to look up to where? Heaven. To be ascended, not to descend. Take note of that. The journey of humanity is to ascend and never to descend, because that is the essence why God made a terminal and a terminus, which is the heaven and the earth. A man that is going for journey has a terminus and a terminal. That is the journey of humanity. When you are asked, where is the terminus of humanity? Is the earth. And where is the terminal humanity? Is heaven. Okay, now God made the heavens and the earth, which he calls the firmament heaven. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered. In verse 8, he said, and God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and morning were the second day. The evening and the morning was the second day. Remember, it was the evening and the morning that was the first day, and the evening and the morning was the second day now. And God said in verse 9, let the waters under heaven be gathered unto one place, and let the dry land appear. He's coming down to earth to maintain the earth. Okay? Now, how did God start the orderliness on earth before man was created? We are going there. Remember, we are not to descend. After God placed us on earth, we are not supposed to descend. We are supposed to ascend. And I will show you how the world system has made humanity to be descending and not to ascend anymore, by tying us to the elemental spirit of the earth, tying us to material spirit of the earth. If you observe, heaven is what humanity supposed to attain. Heaven is the Spirit of God, because the Spirit of God is the beginning of creation. And so long man is at the ending of creation, you are supposed to ascend to the Spirit of God. The ending of God's creation is where man is found. And man is not supposed to descend in God's creation. You are supposed to ascend, and you ascending is to attain or obtain the Spirit of God. Okay? You are not supposed to stand in the materialistic realm. You are supposed to stand in the spiritual realm of God. From there, God knows the next stage you are to go to. But in the world we are living today is like a trap that humanity is being trapped, not even ascending, rather descending. When you go to verse 10, I told you before, when you are hearing verse, it has to do with activities going on under the universe. Okay, so long as an activities inside the universe, it has to be recorded as verse. Constitutional book, those that read law, when you go to constitutional book, you will hear they will say section this and subsection that. We will come to that, how they have used the system that raised law, the system that enacted laws to tie humanity. There is time for them to start to tell us kind of law the system is obeying. If they are operating under the law that is guiding the whole creation of God, that is where we will have the commandment of God, even the laws of the universe. If a father who is leading a particular family or his family or a household is not in alignment with the constitution of the community or the whole system of that state, do you think that man is fit to live in that state, even if you have your own constitution that is tying your household and you are not obeying the constitution of the state or the citizens of that country? No. If the earthly leaders are telling us that they are operating in a particular constitution, we will see if they are actually obeying the constitution of creation. If they are actually obeying the constitution of creation, okay, where they draw all their constitution from, it should be defended. If they are able to defend it, that is to say the system they are creating is actually right for humanity. If they are not in alignment with the creation of universe and the law and the commandment guarding the creation of God, you know that they are being biased, and not just be biased, they are rebels. They are the hijackers of humanity. All right, let's move on. In verse 10 of Genesis chapter 1, and God called a dry land earth, and the gathering together of the water called he seas. God separated the land. If you want to arrange this from where we are coming from, remember the Spirit of God is number one. As we are mentioning them, always picture it in an orderly form, in a descending form, until we get to where man is created, where man needs to climb back again. After the Spirit of God, you need the light of God. And once you have the light of God in you, that is to say you cannot divide the truth from lie. You can stand for truth. You can always know the truth from lie. So that is separation. I call it separation techniques. I call it the stage of separation techniques in God's creation. You know, the first part was call for the Spirit, and the second part was to introduce the light, and the third part was the separation techniques, where separation of light and darkness, separation of waters from the universe. Now, the division of sea from land. Okay, we are still in the separation techniques. And God said, let the earth, listen, after the separation techniques, look at what happened. This is where the fruit of earth is now being introduced. The fruit and the seed of earth want to be introduced.